Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the APFC Fight Field here at the Mosh Performance Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where tonight Anthony Pettis is proud to present APFC Milwaukee, an evening of world-class MMA for your entertainment. Tonight's event is sanctioned by the Wisconsin Department of Safety and Professional Services, Commissioner Mary Murphy Edwards, Assistant Deputy Commissioner Matt Reynolds. Our judges tonight are Gabriel Sabatis, Mike Rogers, and Larry Struck. Our timekeeper is Jake Kint, and our ringside physicians are Dr. Richard Barney and Dr. Benjamin Bondow. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Lightweight Division, sponsored by Smile CBD, and the official APFC after party goes down immediately after the fights. Join us at the Lux Golf Bays across the street. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black and white, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and officially weighed in 154 pounds. Coming in tonight, making his debut, fighting out of Janesville, Wisconsin, JON SACKMAN. And now introducing his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black and red. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and officially weighed in 153 pounds. Also coming in tonight, making his debut and fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Luke Johnson. And your referee in charge, Chris Claviter.
APFC, and we've got 2 gentlemen freshly out of high school with all of their friends and family in tow.
Fresh baby faces, a good crowd, 2 athletic kids. This is going to make up for an exciting fight.
Absolutely. Heavy punch. Heavy change.
Oh my gosh. So we see Johnson right away coming right down the pipe with that left hand. You know, being a southpaw, I'd imagine it's going to be kind of awkward for his opponent to time. You know, when you have the distance is different. When all the shots are coming from a different angle there. And we saw some power like right away. And SACKMAN doing the right thing and just, hey, I took those shots, now I got to get this fight where I want it to go.
Absolutely. And, you know, you saw the kick and the punch landed by Luke Johnson, and JON SACKMAN ate both of them. Yeah, that's what you have to ask.
Kept coming forward. That's that wrestling mentality, man. It can really help you. Sometimes it can hurt you in the fight game because one too many of those, you know, can't be a good thing. But, you know, he made the adjustments, and he's doing well, and he slowed the fight down so far.
On top, we have got JON SACKMAN. And you have to assume with Luke Johnson being over at Red Schaefer's, he's got a pretty good bottom game.
Now, SACKMAN being on top here, he's doing all the right things. Good head pressure. You know, it's always a nice addition when you got a little blood you can smother in your opponent's face right there. But he's in a good position here to maybe look and rain down some strikes. There we go, right there, bodied in head, bodied in head.
And we're looking at a little blood too coming out of SACKMAN as well. He ate, like you said, he ate an overhand as well as a kick, and got the takedown, which is not an easy thing to do.
It's not at all, especially, I mean, when you come in the first few seconds coming back from adversity, essentially. He handled it pretty well. But,
first fight,
you know,
first exchange.
First punch in the face, man. That's a monumental moment right there for him.
You know, everybody should experience it at one time. It's something incredible.
Yeah. And Johnson here, even, you know, being on his back here, he's doing all the right things. He's tying up the hands, tying up the arms, trying to prevent his opponent here from raining down shots. Good position with his legs.
Yes.
I like what I'm seeing here as well on bottom. SACKMAN looking to posture up here. Good hip pressure. Throwing some punches down, and he's being very selective with his punches in that advantage position on top, which I like what I'm seeing.
It's pretty mature for somebody at this stage of the game.
Very mature. I mean, sometimes you can get a little antsy. You get a dominant position right there, and you just want to score points. But he's really making sure he had hip position and was throwing his body into those punches and selecting his target there.
I agree. You see JON SACKMAN in full control. You know, after losing that initial exchange, you know, being on the receiving end or the worst end of the exchange, gets a takedown, and he's really rode this route out.
Yeah, I mean,
on top.
a lot of the times less is more. You get a good position in a tough fight like this. You get a solid position, holding position, doing damage, doing work. He's not stalemating there. He's very active, but he's not doing anything to give up his position.
No, he's doing enough to keep the referee at bay and scoring points.
And a lot of the time, that's the name of the game.
If you look at the corner of Luke Johnson, he's pretty calm for somebody that's in their first MMA bout.
Right here, we see Johnson right there throwing that kick out there. Man, those kicks and those punches on his feet were powerful. Then we had Sackman, hey, I'm going to make the adjustments. I'm going to get my position and start raining down some good ground and pound.
Yeah, a little blood to start it. You know, when you have an event, it's nice to start it hot. Yeah, these two guys definitely, they came to fight.
You know, it's definitely going to be a tough act to follow so far.
We got the corners there. We got Luke Johnson and Jon Sackman. Jon Sackman is in the black and white trunks, and the black and red trunks is adorned by Luke Johnson.
Now, in that first round, we saw Johnson on his back quite a bit, but we cannot forget the first 10 seconds of that round. We saw that powerful left hand coming right down the pipe. We saw that left kick coming from the angle there. So look for him to be like, hey, I know I can touch you now. So maybe be a little more defensive on his feet and not rush to where he wants to be.
Sackman's got to make sure not to walk into his power hand as well, being that Johnson is a southpaw. Nice.
Sackman closing the distance right off of that slip, man. Like, I'm very impressed of how intelligent and mature both of these guys are fighting. I mean, that little nuance of just moving his head off of the center as Johnson came in and jabbed allowed Sackman to get into the position now he's in where he wants to be on top.
Yeah, Luke Johnson going for Kimura.
Johnson fishing here for the arm control to get that Kimura. He's doing all of the right things. Got his left foot there on the hip. If he gets enough leverage here, look for him to maybe even try to roll Sackman through. But with Sackman being a wrestler here, we know wrestlers are good for one thing: hip pressure, hip pressure, hip pressure.
So you got 12 years of wrestling. It certainly plays. It's an absolute tool that you cannot recreate.
You know, not that I'm biased, you know, growing up being a wrestler, but some people would say that's the best foundation to have, Mike, if you ask me.
You got Luke Johnson, once again, staying active on the top, and Jon Sackman continuing to go for that arm control.
Yeah, Johnson's not letting go of that arm. I mean, it's a good position for him, though, like, even if he doesn't get the submission, right? Because it's preventing Sackman from squaring up to throw punches on top. So if he can keep Sackman off balance and maybe even open up a window for him to maybe escape and get back to his feet if he doesn't lock up the submission. Sackman throwing some good shots to the body, just peppering them on top.
I think if I'm Luke Johnson, I'm going to be a little worried not to burn my arms out. I'm going for something that you're not going to get.
Yes, yes, indeed. And I think that's kind of what he's doing. He's not forcing it like too much, but just like he doesn't want to burn his energy and his arms out, he is on his back in a fight, right? We don't want to spend so much time not advancing in a position, right? He's safe here, but it's really not doing him, you know.
It's more of a nullifying, and he's not advancing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So, I mean,
Luke Johnson on his back, taking punches by Jon Sackman. That's that.
Sackman right where he want to be here. Head over chest, chest over hips, raining down punches. Once again, looking for the windows to open up. I like how he had hand control on that opposite side, too. That's something that I work a lot with my coach and trainer, Dean Thomas, getting hand controls on top so you can open up the windows for those shots and not just raining them down.
The thing that wrestling is taught, that is a fundamental part of wrestling, is get your position and then relax and then move from there. And that is something that Jon Sackman is doing, you know, with relative ease up until this point.
Very much so. He's working effectively and efficiently. So here we have the replay. You see Sackman pressuring forward, kind of putting the onus there on Johnson to throw something. Then he closes the distance, gets in on the hips, and gets his takedown. Now, once he gets on top, he's right here, ground and pounding, looking for the hand control with the left hand, throwing with the right hand, doing all of the right things on top here.
You see Patrick Delgado in the corner of Jon Sackman, giving him instruction, calming him down. There's going to be a little bit of an adrenaline dump, and you're just trying to, if it hasn't happened yet, you're trying to stave it up until after the bout. Both fighters in their respective corners. Luke Johnson in the RS MMA kickboxing red and black Muay Thai trunks. And Luke Johnson, once again, in the black and white portions.
Now, Mike, you pointed it out earlier, the personalities. We saw Sackman was kind of amped out as he came up. Johnson's been stoic, right?
Yes.
It's safe to say, if you're me, if you're a judge, Johnson's down 2 rounds. Maybe he picks it up here in the 3rd round and try to put an exclamation point on, hey, maybe I can win this fight. But Sackman, right where he wants to be, in on the shot. Took a couple shots on the way in, but persevered. And, I mean, the name of this game for him, the name of this fight was get where I want to be.
So Luke Johnson came out with a little sense of urgency, which is we had expected, threw a spinning roundhouse kick, followed by a couple other heavy shots, and Jon Sackman obviously timed it and got the
Now Sackman in good position here on top. He has the underhook on the left side. His right hand has been pretty free to land just and kind of pepper some shots here. What I would like to see from him, even though this position is great, Johnson's on his back with his guard open. Maybe let's look to maybe pass guard, go knee on belly, get side control, and get to an even more advantaged position and look for a finish, right?
Yeah, he's got a cut right above his nose. Right above his nose. It's starting to bleed into his eyes. And he's wearing a crimson mask right now.
Ugh. Bloody, hey, welcome to the world of MMA to both of these guys.
It's not a nice sport. It's not a nice sport, man.
This is what it is, you know.
It's a little rite of passage in his first bout.
Comes with the territory. We can charge it to the game.
They're both incredibly relaxed, though.
Yes, and that's a great thing, but it can also be like an hindrance here. So I loved Johnson's demeanor so far, like just being calm, cool, and collected. There's strength to that. But when you're down 2 rounds in a fight, and we saw him kind of like, you know, put the pressure up. He's threw some interesting techniques to come out with this round, but we got to kind of keep that up a little bit.
A little more sense of urgency. Even if it means putting yourself in a worse position to be in a better one, right now would be the time.
Yes. And Sackman, he's right at home here, man. This is just another 6-minute wrestling match for him. Right? He's on top, got his opponent pinned down, raining shots on top.
He's been in this position since grammar school. Yeah, he's been experiencing it, that's for sure.
The head control. He could do this in his sleep, literally.
Yeah, Luke is like I said, he's going to have to even put himself in a worse position to get a better one. He's got explosive power. I mean, we saw it in that first exchange and the attempt at the beginning of this round.
Yes, I mean, we can look for him, you know, as his career goes on, you know, in MMA to grow into that, man. That's very dangerous.
Yes.
But right now, he's just settling being where he is. And that's never a good thing. And that'll change, hopefully, with experience.
And Johnson. Jon Sackman putting it on right now, picking up the pace.
Just chipping away. Left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand.
We saw him a little labored in between rounds, but he's picking up the pace right now. Wow. Masterful fight by Jon Sackman. Great show of sportsmanship at the end as well.
Beautiful performance right here. He stuck to his game. You can tell in his approach to this fight, he was like, hey, as similar as I am with this guy, what separates me from him? And it was the wrestling, and he went out there and implemented it.
A little disappointment on Luke Johnson's face. I think he understands, you know, the verdict of this bout, but at the end of the day, he's got nothing to be ashamed of, man. Absolute tough kid.
Nothing to be ashamed. I definitely saw some gems in his performance. If I'm his coach, I'm looking at this performance, I'm like, look, we have a lot there to build off of, you know, despite the result.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. You see him going over, you see Luke Johnson right now going over the game plan, kind of understanding positions. That's a very important part of the loss. Kind of learning from it, what happened. And we are going to send it to our ring announcer for this first bout, to Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the scorecards for decision. And all 3 judges scored this contest 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, Jon Sackman.
big crowd response.
Hey, that's gotta feel good, man. Your first MMA fight and that kind of support.